the story is timeless, and so is the music. The work that Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice did all those years ago when they were in their late teens, early 20s. It's incredible to have stood the test of time, and I think especially with this new production that we're involved with, it's been brought right up to date. It's set in today's times, so it makes it really relevant.
How relevant is it? I mean, because I know there's people that love sort of, the original shows, the heart of the show, and also the visuals.
Yeah.
So if you change it too much, do you sort of lose the, original fans?
I don't think so, because every production of Jesus Christ Superstar has been different. And, I think to do it in a 70s style now would be quite bizarre. And it's really weird how it resonates with what's going on in the world today.
Well, what do you think it brings to today's world? I mean, because it's not actually about religion as such. There's lots of messages in there, aren't there? What would you say the main messages in a way are?
There's so many messages. I think it's about relationships and love and jealousy and power and greed, and it's something that humans deal with on a daily basis.
Now, I can't sing and I can't dance, so I'm going to have to ask you, what's it like when you're on stage? What emotions are coursing through you? How does it actually feel to perform before thousands of people?
Oh, well, for me, it's the best place on earth. I've always loved performing since I was a young kid. So to be able to do it professionally and with some of the best performers in the world and in a show, which was written by one of my absolute heroes is just incredible.
Because I had a thought. If you don't mind, I'd love you to paint a picture of what you were like as a young girl. I mean, what were your dreams? Did you ever foresee this? Were you that sort of precocious little young thing going, I want to act, I want to sing, I want to be famous?
Well, unfortunately, I think I was. Yeah, I was very confident as a kid. I was confident in my abilities, and I was very ambitious. And it was absolutely my dream to work in the West End of London, to work on Broadway, to be in musical theatre, to be a pop star. I had all these outlandish dreams, and I never really thought that they would come true. And the funny thing is, I was very lucky that those things happened to me, and it really humbled me. So although I was a precocious kid, I think as I've grown up, I'm a lot more gracious about it.
That's reassuring. Now, obviously, touring can't be easy. I'm just making another assumption here. But how do you cope? Like, what are your coping mechanisms? Or what I'm trying to say is, like, do you bring home comforts with you? Or
Yeah, it is tough. I think, when you're doing different things, there's nothing more difficult than being in a show, whether it be in the West End or, any theatre land over the world. If you're doing 8 shows a week, the discipline required for that is really tough. But at least if you're touring with something like an arena show, which is more like music, which is what I'm more used to, you get a little bit more time off, so you can chill out a bit more. But then, of course, you're away from home a lot more. So, it swings and roundabouts, really. But it's exhausting, but you're fulfilling your dreams, your childhood dreams. So you kind of have to take the rough with the smooth, like anything you do.
So do you have a lucky charm? Do you bring anything with you from home? Do you what do you do, and how do you keep fit?
Well, keeping fit personally for me is a really important part of my performance, and you have time off. You're working in the evening, so you kind of live in a different schedule to a lot of people. So you'll have the mornings free and some of the afternoons, so that lets you go to the gym or do the things you need to do. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have lucky charms or anything. I can be a little bit superstitious sometimes, but I think as I've got older, I'm a bit more, realistic about things. And also travelling, you don't want to carry things you don't need.
Oh, okay. Are you a shopper?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a shopper. I go through phases.
Okay. Now, I have to ask, with the Spice Girls, why were they so inspirational for women of all ages? I mean, they still resonate today with young women?
Yeah, I hope so. Us girls are so proud of the legacy we've left behind. And, of course, now we have a show in the West End, Viva Forever, which is doing really well. And I think, for me, I would say fundamentally because the 5 of us were so different. I think that was our appeal, our individuality. So there was somebody for everybody to identify with. And about being together, being a team, supporting each other, especially as women, because I think historically women sometimes have the reputation of not supporting each other. So it was just great to really celebrate that.
And did you ever feel, though, that you were a little bit typecast? You know, that were there any times when you thought, oh, I just wish that people would just once and for all put that aside and there's so much more to me?
Not really.
No?
The nicknames that we were given were pretty much on the way we dressed or the way we behaved or the way that we looked. And it was a fun thing, and we became caricatures of ourselves. But, I'm very much Sporty Spice at heart. I'm very sporty. And, and I'm really proud of that. And I think, especially now working in musical theatre, it's been lovely. I feel like I've been really welcomed into the theatre world.
And
Yeah.
one last question for you, Melanie, because I have to ask, with over the years, you have been in the limelight for, decades, let's say. Have you had your...
Don't be putting years on me now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But just, your fair share of, fans, I suppose, out there. Have you had sort of, the obsessed fan or two? Like, they must be rather passionate, let's say.
Yeah, it's really lovely because we have fans all over the world, and coming back to Australia, you see fans that have been following you for, it's like 16 years now. And at home in the UK, I see some kids, they're not kids anymore, they have their own kids now. And it's been really lovely to watch people grow up.